So the next project that I need to work on is the Bimini. It's down right now, as you can tell by the sun shining in my eyes, but it's made out of the same fabric as the Dodger, and there's a section of this clear plastic stuff in there that looks the same material as this. It's there's a name for it, different trade names for it or whatever, but it's a clear plastic that serves as window material, and there's a piece in the Bimini that's in the very top of the Bimini as you're looking up, so you can look up and see the top of the mast, and you can see the Windex moving at the top. And that piece, when we bought the boat, was completely broken out. Like it's all dried and it has cracked and broken out. So I've taken the Bimini down. I'm going to take that home. I need to remove that piece of this stuff, the plastic stuff, out of there, and then replace it with a new piece. So I'm going to do that to kind of practice some of my sewing skills, sewing some of this thicker material, because this stuff is pretty thick. I'm going to buy a piece from Sailrite and then try to get that fit in there and see how that goes. So this is the top of the Bimini, and this was the plastic window that was broken out, and you can see it's completely gone. I've already removed it from the Bimini. It was sewed into this top edge here, with this unfinished edge was kind of sewed in there, and then this edge here has some binding on it, and that was just sewed right flat to here. And then the zipper piece that's on there, that's actually to close this cover, which covers it up if you're not using it. So I've already taken a seam ripper and gone through and taken this piece off, and I got some new plastic window material, and I'm going to cut off a piece the same size. Then I need to cut some binding from the scrap canvas that I have and sew the binding onto the piece of window material. This is the window material, and you can see it's just a clear plastic piece. I'm not sure, I forget how thick this is, but it was one of the cheaper options that they had. And it's I just got the smallest amount I could get, which I think was like a yard. And you can see it's going to be wide enough to do this, and should be plenty long enough to do it. So next is to try to get this thing to roll flat and cut out the piece of the right size that I need there. Okay, so next step is to take that plastic sheet that I have, the clear plastic window film, and put a binding around it. And this little thing right here is, I got it as an extra with the machine, is a swing away binding attachment. So if you look closely, what's happening here is the binding feeds in here, and it automatically funnels it and channels it and wraps it around the material to create the binding. So I did a little sample here of what I'm trying to accomplish here, and this is the little scrap of that clear film with some binding attached to it. So what ends up happening, I've took that binding that I cut, and I ironed it so it looks like this. So what we've got is folded in half, and then it's folded in half again. Or I mean, actually, I guess, and those pieces are folded down onto each other. So it looks like that. So what happens is this thing goes inside here, and then it goes in like that, and as it comes in, it squeezes itself together. And then I take the material, or the plastic material, and feed that in there like that, and then you just make the machine go, and then it automatically pulls it in there and then attaches it in the right spot. So I've got this set to put a stitch right along, and let me back this up a little bit so you can see I've got this set so that stitch will go right in the right spot, and then once I feed this material through there, it will automatically put everything in the right spot where it needs to be, and it gives it a real nice finished look like this one here. So let's give that a shot. So here's the finished result. You can see got the binding. The original one only didn't have the binding along this edge because that goes under a part of the cover. So, but that's what the finished product looks like. The binding around the edge, and it's ready to be attached to the rest of the Bimini. Alright, it looks like this is complete. So there's the new panel in there, sewed back on there, binding. Everything seems to fit back together properly. That's the cover that goes over top. There's from the top side, what that looks like. And it's all back in one piece. Project complete.